Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It is the final part of my Peru vlog, and in today's video I'll just be showing you the final 3 days in Peru. This includes our hike to both Machu Picchu and Lake Humantay, paramotorcycling, and exploring Lima. It is day 5 and today is the day that we visit Machu Picchu. At around 5 a.m. we ventured off for our first day of hiking activities in Cusco. Driving from Cusco to get to the train station takes us approximately 2 hours, so yeah, we left very early.
Here to Humantay is between 1 hour 30 minutes to 2 hours, depending on the traffic. No? You have time for sleep, mis amigos. But mis amigos, let's go to Humantay. Do you have some questions maybe?
Even though our guide told us that we could go back to sleep if we wanted to, I didn't, as I was very curious about all the things I would have missed if I was sleeping. It was actually great seeing the other side of Peru, you know, the countryside, where we saw cows, we saw other animals, a different type of housing, and so much more. Along our journey, we saw some pod-looking buildings on the sides of the hill. So we were asking the guide what these were, and that's when he told us like these are cliff-hanging hotel pods that they usually call Sky Lodge Adventure Suites. And that one night in one of these pods could go up to 1,000 US dollars.
In the rock, no? The rappel they do. And then, when they arrive there, normally in each capsule it's possible to find 3 beds for the sleep and also 1 restaurant. And also guys, that is new for VS actually. The more older that we have here, you will see.
So, would you spend a night in one of these pods? Let me know in the comments.
You will find the Inca building, and over of that, the colonial house. Mis amigos, from here is the beginning of the cloud forest. We are located approximately 2,800 meters above sea level. Now the next stop that we are going to have, mis amigos, is Aguascalientes or Machu Picchu town, that is located 2,200 meters above sea level.
I really love how knowledgeable our guide was, as he gave us so much information on the Inca community.
In your right hand, mis amigos, look this beautiful stream. Wow, look this water, mis amigos. This water is come from the some communities out there. The name of these communities is Huilog Patacancha, and also that in these communities, the people that live there have beautiful clothes that represent their culture.
And if you look closely, you will see the locals are dressed in their traditional Andean clothing. It was sometime after 7 a.m. when we finally got to the train station, which means it was really 2 hours of driving. We saw a lot of vendors on the outside of the train station. They were selling ponchos, bags, gloves, and so much more. So for a few persons that didn't have anything or wanted to get last minute items, this was like so perfect for them. For our train rides, our tables had beautiful Peruvian arpilleras. Back at the hotel, we were given our breakfast to go, and so we had taken it with us, and that's what we were having with us on board. The train service, it also comes with a selection of coffees, teas, snacks, and of course, some soothing music. One thing I really have to admit, we were not short on scenic views. Like, are you looking at this? The best side of the train to sit on is the left side. For as you can see, the windows, they do provide a beautiful view for flora, for fauna, and for the winding river. So what you are currently looking at is the unique landscapes of the Sacred Valley, and the name of the river is the Urubamba River. It was now the end of our train ride, and we arrived in the city they call as Aguas Calientes. Here we were thinking that after we got to the train station, we would have been close or somewhat close. Unfortunately, we were told that we were nowhere close, and this was just the beginning of our journey to Machu Picchu. Our next stop was the bus stop, and we kind of detoured through the craft market to get to the other side. And I don't know if this was a good or bad idea, but I was already looking at all the stuff I wanted to purchase when we were making our way back. I am a souvenir junkie or a professional souvenir buyer, and let's just say, honestly, Peru has some of the most unique souvenirs you can ever find. We are now in the heart of the town, and let's just say the views, they are phenomenal. So this town, it is located at the base of Machu Picchu, and it basically serves as the main access point for all the visitors. When it was our turn, we had boarded the bus and was then on our way to see the wonder of the world. The bus ride is typically 30 minutes, but there are others who opt to walk, and that can take them up to 2 hours. Upon arrival, but prior to entrance, you are required to give them your tickets and your passport. Now it was time to start the real hiking. And of course, at first, everyone is excited, but we all know how hiking goes. I think my excitement to see my first wonder, it really kept me from feeling all the symptoms of the altitude. And just like that, there it was. I absolutely could not believe it, and it was just an OMG moment for me, like an absolute OMG kind of moment for me. And when I tell you pictures do no justice, please believe me. There are absolutely no words to describe how beautiful this is in real life. You just had to be there, honestly. So after taking our photos, the tour did not stop there. Our guide, he proceeded to take us to the middle of the actual site.
This is why the city, for hundreds and hundreds of years, covered all the natural disasters that we have in the Andes.
So that last part again?
Oh, that the city was made to support all the natural
So
disasters,
disasters,
like the
earthquakes
rainy
and-
season, earthquakes, landslides, everything.
There are many people look like ants because it's a big area, it's not really small. This is a really nice lookout to have better idea where we are exactly. Okay?
This doorway, they call it the
But
Sun
also
Gate,
look at, there
and
is
it
a
is the
big wall
main
that
entrance to
surrounds
the
all
site.
city. So that means that Machu Picchu was really protected. We believe it in the beginning that Machu Picchu was a military place. But now we know that this place was not a military place because we don't find any weapons here. So the wall that was made around. Look at the door had to be like that in that time. Look at behind of the door. So we have two holes, cylindrical stones inside, and one ring in the top of the door. So that is the way how they have to close. Okay.
Oh.
So
After explaining the gate, he then took us to the Inca garden, where he was showing us all the plants they would use as medicine and for fruits and different stuff.
and the other tree that is in the left side, those are called Matico. Was used a lot in the COVID time. The people were boiling that plant and they were breathing the leaves. And that helped to clean the lungs of them. Many people survived because of that plant. So usually the COVID was not the last in this place, so this is why we know that this is the place to make offerings, to sacrifice it. We don't have found humans offerings. We found these humans offerings in the mountains, in the top. But all of them have to be children's. Why children's? Because they were considered pure people for them. And
After they explained how sacrifices worked, they gave us two options. One, to continue the site tour, or two, to see llamas. And yes, I chose to see the llamas. I opted to discontinue the tour as inside of the site was very hot and I felt as if I was gonna pass out, which was strange because in the morning it was very cold. But by the time we got to Machu Picchu and we were like doing the tour, it was like so hot and humid. A fair amount of us did not finish the tour, so we all just boarded the bus and went back into the town, where we decided we would have lunch and wait until the other guys had arrived. Before we even knew it, it was already 4 p.m., which meant it was time for us to head back home. So we boarded the train and of course we got back into our shuttle and the shuttle took us to our hotel and that was it. After dinner, we went back into the town. That's where we saw some kids dancing in the streets. I'm hoping you've caught onto our routine by now. So yes, we ended our night with our nightly stroll. We are on to our 6th day of activities. It was 5 a.m. and we were grabbing breakfast at the hotel before we headed out for the day's activity. During all our stays, we were provided with some very good breakfast, but I must admit that this morning was one of the best mornings for me, as I loved how they provided a variety of Peruvian cuisine and American cuisine for us. Our activity of the day was hiking to Lake Humantay. Now, the altitude for Lake Humantay is 13,780 feet. It is known for its blue, stunning water, which is due to the glacial melted waters from surrounding mountains. After close to 2 hours of driving, we had stopped at this restaurant into the mountains. They provided for us a light buffet, which included coca tea leaves to help us with acclimatization. Quickly, we were back on the roads. Now this route, it had much narrower roads than those we previously traveled on, which was a clear indication that we were traveling more to the countryside of Peru. They were doing road repairs on this route, so we had to wait for about 20 minutes. After that, we continued, and the scenery was amazing. After another hour of driving, we arrived at the starting point of the hiking trail. A few persons were now feeling sick, but they still decided that they wanted to do the hike. As we continued the trail, we spotted the Salcantay domes, and these are just eco-camp lodging which are offered to tourists who trek to the lake. A herd of donkeys, mules, and horses had passed us, but I was very unsure where they were heading. No, luckily for us, a van that was passing, they were going in the same direction as we were, so they offered us a drive in the van back. I can't speak for anyone, but I know for myself, I was super appreciative of this ride as I didn't have to walk all the way. So, the total hike time to get to the lake is around 2 hours. The trail, it's moderate and some parts difficult, so this trail should not be taken lightly. I do have to admit though, we are not professional hikers, and so we all opted to charter horses to take us to the lake. Before we knew it, everyone got straddled in, and then we all had our own horses. Each horse, they had a horseman to guide us up the trail so the horses wouldn't go off the trail. Our hiking time was now reduced to like half an hour. Yes, I'd say 30 minutes instead of the whole total 2 hours. And it was pretty good. A little bit scary going uphill, I must admit, but it was good. The horses, they didn't take us all the way to the lake, but they took us as very close as possible. We still had about 8 to 10 minutes of walking, which was much better than walking the whole trail going up, considered we were non-hikers. I swear, it's the fact that we can actually hear my heart beat. It is pretty, but this is not for the faint of heart, trust me. At that point, I think that's when I started to feel the symptoms of the altitude, as I wasn't tired, but somehow I had a shortness of breath and I could hear my heart beating. At first, I was wearing a mask because in the morning we left out, it was very cold and I found it difficult to breathe in the cold air. But as I was climbing, I realized I was kind of restricting my breathing, and so I had to take it off. Look how my shoes dirty. Jesus. Nigga. Anyways, my foot not even hurt me as much as like the breathing is a good thing them big with oxygen pills, because this one is like one of the steepest hikes I've ever taken on myself. But the views are around the corner, so let's go. In less than a minute, I was finally at the most beautiful sight I had ever laid my eyes on. And just like that, all the complaining I did that morning, it was definitely worth it. Like all the coca teas, all the oxygen pills, they played a major role to allow me to reach to Lake Humantay. This was indeed the most difficult hike of my life, I'll admit that, but it didn't even matter, honestly. It was worth it, and I was extremely happy that I went. So after everyone got finished with their pictures, it was already 3 p.m. and so it was time for us to head back to Cusco. They had already had our horses ready and waiting for us, and so yeah, that was it. I did not record our way down on our way back because they took a different path, and that path was more steep than the original path, and it was definitely more scary. We were even crossing the rivers and stuff, and so I was holding onto my phone. I was not recording anything. That same van that took us in the morning to the horses, they took us all back, but this time they took us to our starting point. And that's basically how we ended our day. We drove back to Cusco and we had our flight same night. It was just a busy day for us. Day 7. Oh my goodness. So it is our last and final day. We are back in Lima and we had breakfast around 7 a.m. So yeah, we got to sleep in late this day. At 10 a.m. we had our final activity of the week, and this one was Paramotorcycling. Of course, we were all excited, so we watched as each person went one at a time, and then it was my turn. If you're asking, then the answer is yes. Of course, I had a great time. Highly, highly recommended. Another 10 out of 10 activity. Mwah. And I hope you all add this one to your bucket list. After that, we went to check out the city of Lima. Of course, our first stop is going to be the mall. We did a bit of city touring, I would say, yes, lots of walking.
Lima!
We also went to the beach overview in Miraflores. In the night, they had a end of trip dinner, which unfortunately, because I got sick, I did not get the chance to attend it. But I was told everyone had fun. I really hope you enjoyed my vlog. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you on our next adventure.